Thank you very much for joining me. Okay, let's talk about you and your frequencies. Okay, Sag, Jupiter going through Pisces, fellow communicative sign, always a bonus, fourth house stuff. Okay, this is going to happen for a year and a half. We got to dance. Year and a half, that's so long. Yeah, I know. Jupiter going through your fourth house. Not the luckiest form, but one of the healthiest, happiest times if you really want to surprise yourself with how good, sturdy, and firm you can become during such a transit. So the main thing basically is not to be in love right now with anything or anyone at all. I see has been shifted by Jupiter. Okay, so yeah, sometimes Sagittarians have a love. They're like, I'm so lucky I found her, or like, I'm so in love, or like, oh my God, I just met the right. Like, okay, some things are going to be kind of boiling through, and some things are not really going to maybe turn into the habit, but they can. Certain things can be very much for life and for like love and the purest love of all. But the greatest thing you can do is just be yourself, okay? Be yourself. You don't have to manage. Some things are not maybe manageable at all. Certain love of your life people might not actually be exactly what you want. And when you really, really take care of them and each other and yourself, you kind of understand that's not really your choice anymore. It's kind of half theirs and half yours. Basically what I'm saying is you could get really, really into things that are basically going to become burdensome or backwards for you. So the best thing basically is not to pay any attention if there's anything that you thought that you would really want once that you have, because some of it might get shaded out and blown way out of the water by something or somebody new. So that's the thing, is not to count on it. If you have great relationship, if you have amazing sex, if you have met somebody that you really love, or you have really formed your view on something or somebody, or you decided on the place that you want to live, or the person you want to be, or the thing that you want to do forever, or the person you want to be with forever, just don't make it sure, because either that thing is going to change, or there's going to be something else happening, or there's going to be likely people or places you're going to maybe want to be with later that are nothing to do with this, or there's going to be some kind of irony or a joke in between all of this. So make sure that you're not putting all your eggs into one basket necessarily right now. So if you are especially very sold, like, I'm sold, I'm going there, just make sure that you wait just a little bit, just a tiny little bit, in order to make sure that you don't owe anything to yourself later, and you don't owe anything to them, and that you don't speak too much about risky things, about like marriage and children and making it work, and wanting the world, and trying to be the world for another person. Just basically you don't have to know it this way. You're not studying the right things. If you really think about it, make sure you have a little bit of space. If you've met somebody really good and young and beautiful and fine, that's fantastic. Don't do anything just yet. Make sure that you wait, and some of it might not be entirely wrong, but it could be exactly not where you want to be. And some things here are just about an evolutionary kind of a growth, or an evolutionary thought, rather than that which you think you might want, or where you think you want to be. So sometimes it's like, this is the girl that my mother wanted for me, or this is the person that I've wanted to meet forever, or this is the type of person I've wanted to be forever. Some of it is very wrong. So the base thing here is that things are meant to transform, and they're meant to come to a certain mastery, or a certain sleekness, or a certain end. And some things are going to be very precious here, of course, in the end, and certain things are never going to change. If you really don't want them to, they won't. Kind of scary, like, when you think about it. Like, if you really work it up and you go, that's it, this is my only soulmate, that's it, and every single day for a year or two you're going to say that, that is actually going to work. It's just important that you also leave room for mystery of life and the quantum that can also come later. So sometimes in this time you're kind of going to be tested by love, tested by what is beautiful, what is serene, what is epic, what is full-hearted, what is homely for you, what is that which you exactly want in your life, what is that person doing, what is that person saying, what are these other people also saying and doing. And the main thing basically is not to be absolutely sparkling, clean and spotless to that specific type of person or reason or ideology, simply because you don't want to get too good at it as well. And why I'm saying is because there's a lovely messiness about you guys. Just keep it so, okay? So just let it be. So let yourself become a little thoughtless sometimes. Allow yourself to be a little rubbish sometimes, because the thing is, you can't get too precious about certain things, especially if you don't really know what it all means and where it's all going, where it's all coming from and going to. So the main thing is you have to be absolutely all right and as casual as it gets about many things. All right, cool, yep, okay, yep, okay. So like make that kind of the overall essence if you could, and just let this movie of life or this movie of illusion, what is cool, what is timely, what is wealthy, what is supportive, what is gorgeous, what is backward, what is untrue, what is reptilian, what is uncomfortable, like all of these, like what is this, what is the standard of life I should be living, or which kind of people really suit me, where do I belong in the world, all of this stuff. Make yourself absolutely uncaring. It's like you are looking at a gallery of life. You don't want to buy any of the paintings. You're just walking through. Don't buy anything. Very easy. Okay, Jupiter into Pisces. Very easy to deck out your house, to buy a brand new fridge, to get a large car that you don't actually later want. You can easily get yourself in debt. You can easily wake up next to the wrong person and think they're a soulmate. You can very easily want to get that large Labrador that doesn't fit in your freaking apartment, and everything is great. It's great. It's just important that you don't need to make anything of yourself and try to be the big picture person and do all that stuff and carry the load, and it's like the 10 of Wands kind of card, and make sure that you look good in front of your seemingly future spouse's family. Like, you don't need to play that fool, okay? The better thing that you can do is think slowly, okay? Make yourself a little bit more conscious. Great. Get rid of it. You know, if you don't really feel like you need it, don't participate. If you don't really trust someone, don't make yourself trust them just for the sake of having that reason to live or that reason to feel. Don't be that person that wants to fall in love more than that person who just wants to understand. Be that person who understands. Like, I'm just a person that sees and understands. You know, you shouldn't ever have to try and make anything out of anything or anybody. Okay? The main thing also is also not to marry up. Okay? Like, I met this perfect person and they're very wealthy and they're very successful and they really know what they're doing and I really want to marry up, you know, or like, I met this really, really great guy and he knows exactly everything about like so a certain genre of music and I want to progress in that direction and I think I want to be his friend. Like, don't be anything. The main thing basically is to do not that much and to understand that you are just going through a few things, and a lot of these things are just smoke and mirrors and some of these things aren't. But the main thing basically is to build yourself through all of this and to understand that you don't have to buy or sell your heart. You know, for this woman I'll do anything. No, don't buy anything, don't sell anything. Make sure that you're not shopping for anybody. Like getting somebody else something, you know, looking after somebody, trying to help somebody work with you or be with you or help you or be so good for you. Also, another thing that can happen is you can be very easily manipulated, or you can be very easily manipulative and not know it, or vice versa. The main thing basically is not to get too excited here also, but you might have a power of rule or a power of respect or sensibility. Maybe there is something about you that used to be very worthless or very uncomfortable or unsupportive, and now it is all that. Like previously somebody didn't even share with you, or they didn't want your attention, but now they come back to you every day thinking about you, like thinking about what you said or done, especially if they're a close person to you. Maybe previously you didn't have any respect in your family line, or you never had any respect for yourself in a certain industry or a certain style of experience or life, and now you are it. You are the talk of the town. It's very easy to be the only person that knows as well. So what I mean is, we are in a fellow communicative sign as well of Pisces here. Pisces, Jupiter. You may not be the only person that knows, but you may be the only person someone wants to talk about that topic with, and you could be the only strategist for another. 4 is also the sign of strategist. 4th house. You might not have everything that you need for something, but somebody thinks you have everything. So you could also be an up-and-comer. So for example, you're coming into a career in the arts, and nobody really knows you, and you don't really have anybody in your family that has practiced art at all, and suddenly you are one of the freshest faces in a group of people that is really up and coming. You're the up and comer, and people just really want to share with you. They want to buy from you. They want to sell, your art. They want to look at your art. They want to give other people a taste of your art. So you are like a medicine. So that's the thing. If you are very fresh and you're up and coming, please make sure that you don't get that out there too soon as well. So sometimes it's like beginner's luck and then things fade, or there could be a very interesting support that then later disappears and then you're on your own. So there are lots of interesting, weird, and also courage building ways in which life can twist these different states of importance, place, in history and time within you. So the main basic thing is not to trust this Jupiter, really, although Jupiter is your planet. Pisces and Jupiter, it could be a lie, like somebody tells you you're the best, you believe them, and then tomorrow they walk away. Or, for example, somebody really wants to buy your art, and then they only pay you peanuts for that which you do. Then you find out later that your work is worth much, 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 much more than what they're paying. And then that becomes a very, very unlucky thing. So the main thing basically is not to play horoscopes also with you anymore, and not to get yourself too intense about some things about your life. Some things you cannot predict it, okay? So I have to tell you, there are ways in which life can evade us, or it can be very elusive to some degree. You might not know it, you might not feel it, but there could be alternative methods that are beyond the previous blueprint of your family or your karma. So it's very hard to predict your life. So you're looking at your astrology like, wait a minute, that shouldn't have happened. Look, I have this in the sky. But there are some ways in which, good or bad, certain karmic patterns can reform or be completely destroyed and replaced by new ones, good or bad. So the thing here is, it's very hard to experience this, but it's kind of urging you to understand constance and conscious connection at the same time as tipsy-turvy, backwards, back-to-front realities. So it's almost exactly the same as like what I'm kind of feeling right now. So it's like you are feeling good and sturdy, and this particular month is asking you to take care of things and be okay with this and that, and not to raise your how can I say, not to raise your perception beyond the obvious stable. So it's kind of asking you to, in a way, just go through it and walk through it and just be okay with it. But it's also sort of telling you that sometimes there are these whirlwinds that just come out of the air, and from nothing, from nobody, huge things can be made, like careers can be made. You can skip timelines, you can marry in a heartbeat, you can actually become very, very wealthy and worthy. So that's the thing. It's kind of like I feel this is about the heart. It's kind of like the natural rhythms, increased momentums, and sometimes things can be pulled out of a hat. It's almost like there's these magic quantums that are just suddenly, all of a sudden made. And then at the same time, we're also told not to praise things for that which they're not. So not to chase that person that we think is lovely, who is maybe not at all that which we need, and not to try hard at a job that we may not actually need to keep. So that's the thing. It's like, don't walk with your mind. So just walked out of a 3rd house, Jupiter. So walk with your mind towards who or what you think is good and worthy. So you don't go there with your mind. You basically walk through life almost not complacently, but like rather in a detached way. You just allow it to be whatever's going to be, come what may, and you're just letting it be, and letting new people or new ideas or new formative essences or essence building realities come to light. But yet again, you're not making anything or anyone out of yourself, and you're not trying to be ancient or historical. You're not wanting to make a family. You're not like you're not like forming anything specific on purpose. You're just basically glazing through, and let that previous karma of your family or that previous patterning just walk out of your life. And then once you get there, like once you understand what it is, and you maybe even crack a thing or two, like, oh, I didn't actually really want that girl. Wow, I wanted the girl to just be a pretty girl. I just wanted her to be happy. I didn't actually really wanted that girl for marriage. I just knew that she like wanted something out of me. And then quickly you crack it, like you crack the whole theme, and you're out of there. And sometimes this whirlwind of attraction, or this cosmic Jupiterian laughter, I would say, or this like madness, or this excitement, or this sudden quantum leap is going to just take you through, and it'll just like a geyser come out of nowhere. It'll just come out of nowhere and upgrade your whole reality. But it has to be a natural understanding that you first reach, or like a natural non-conformist space in which you're in, to help those ones come through. So to help these quantum loops come in, you can't just like station yourself somewhere like, I really need this girl, I think I'm going to make a house here, I think I want to make a family, yep, right here. That's the thing that you don't maybe need. And the rabbit in the hat thing, like that out of the ordinary thing, isn't something that you programmed, but is going to be programmed by you through just this unconscious gaze that Jupiter has during this very sensitive and incredible fourth house reveal. So it's basically like shedding skin. So fourth house is skin. So you like skin shedding as a soul and as a memory. So you're no longer a memory of your previous self, and you don't have to memorize maybe anything around you anymore. You don't have to become strong or astute about probably anybody in your life, but you could always be. Yet these gazes will come, and suddenly something else happens to you. It's like you've married, you've completely committed, and suddenly at the reception you are amazed, but you meet the most beautiful person you've ever met in your life, and you've completely fallen out of love, and you don't even know how that happened. So like that's just sometimes how it happens. Okay, so just let that life pattern be in a way restricted and replaced by something that you didn't even expect could possibly be. So thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.